big buzz for women has recently hit the streets of Dhaka, and it raises an interesting question. When did pink become a girl's color? The same goes for high heels. Today they're almost synonymous with women's fashion, but surprisingly neither pink nor high heels has always been associated with women. In fact, history tells us quite the opposite. In the early 20th century, some Western clothing companies and magazines actually recommended pink for boys and blue for girls. The reasoning was surprisingly straightforward. Pink was considered a softer version of red color associated with strength, courage, and masculinity. Blue, on the other hand, was seen as calm, delicate, and refined, making it more suitable for girls. So when did the roles reverse? From around 1940s onward, fashion brands, advertisers, and retailers increasingly prompted the idea that pink was for girls and blue for boys. And there are some very practical reasons behind it. First, marketing. Creating separate products for boys and girls meant creating more products to sell. Second, reputation. Advertising, film, toys, and clothing repeatedly reinforced the same color associations. And third, social expectations. The more often people see an idea, the more normal it begins to feel. But is pink universally feminine? Not at all. The meaning of color changes across cultures and throughout history. In China, for example, red has traditionally been associated with good fortune. In some cultures, white is the color of mourning. In others, it's strongly associated with weddings. So the idea that certain colors are inherently male or female is largely cultural, not universal. And while some studies suggest that girls on average may show slightly different preferences for certain colors or shades, there's no strong scientific evidence that pink is biologically a girl's color and blue a boy's color. In short, the gender of a color is something socially created, not something biologically decided. Now let's talk about high heels. Today, high heels are one of the most recognizable symbols of women's fashion, but their story begins somewhere completely different. Historians trace an early use of heeled footwear to Persian cavalry who used heels to keep their feet secure in stirrups while riding horses. They added stability, which was especially useful in combat. As Persian culture and fashion influenced Europe, heeled shoes eventually became popular among European aristocrats. By the 17th century, King Louis XIV of France had turned high heels into a symbol of wealth, power, and status. His famous red heels became so closely associated with royal authority that they were reserved for the elite. Eventually, women in Europe also began wearing heels, but as men's fashion changed, high heels gradually disappeared from everyday menswear. Women's fashion, meanwhile, embraced them, and over time, heels became strongly associated with femininity. And that brings us to the bigger picture. Pink wasn't always for girls, high heels weren't always for women. What we consider masculine or feminine in fashion can change dramatically over time, because sometimes what feels like a timeless rule is simply a tradition we have repeated long enough to forget where it came from.